Well, the boys faced off against the Alexander Spartans, as Maggie said earlier. And yeah, just a couple more games to clean up and keep moving forward. They've been doing that all season, though, and they are finding their stride. I had a coach in high school when I played that said you don't want to be playing your best basketball in November or December. You want to be playing your best in February into March, and that's what the Meigs Marauders are doing. They have won the last 7 of 10 and behind Weston Bear's athleticism, Zach Bartram's IQ. They can stir some things up. They lost to Alexander, but those two combined had 42 of their team's 50 points. As Meg said earlier, that 1-3-1 zone was causing mistakes. They just need to find their way in the fourth to pull away from teams. But again, behind the double Bs of Bear and Bartram, the Meigs Marauders can find success going into playoff time. Well, for the Lady Marauders, they played tough all night, constantly back and forth with NY, but they missed a couple free throws at the end of the game to take the lead, and that's what killed them, as they would lose a really close battle 52-51. Jesse Addis and Cassidy Betzing always seem to go at each other a little more aggressive than other opponents, and I think that shows how this game was played. Betzing would finish with 17 points and added in 9 rebounds. Now, at this next play, we're going to break down what exactly the Lady Marauders were doing right. As you can see here, Madison Fields and Maddie Hendricks were passing the ball to get the zone moving back and forth. Betzing then stays in the middle, gets the ball, goes to the open spot, puts up the uncontested shot, and it goes in. This would help her find open shooters later in the game, and she's so good in the mid-range, but against NY, her shots weren't falling. At the end of the game, Marissa Noble hit 2 clutch threes, and the momentum was going their way. Then Becca Paulins had a chance at the line, and Betzing as well after an and one, but they missed the free throws. As a team, they were 2 of 5 from the line. Addis came up big on that last free throw attempt to get the win, as Nate said earlier.
The series was tied 1-1 and both teams wanted the advantage. Ohio took the lead early in the first inning from Tony Giannini, who hit a single, bringing in Rudy Rote, followed by Aaron Livy, who hit a shot up the middle, bringing in another run.
The Bobcats took the lead in the first inning, scoring 2 runs. They would hold on to the lead the entire game, even scoring 6 runs in the 4th inning.
It consisted of all power from the plate and smart defense from the Bobcats. Ohio pulled off a fake pickoff at second to throw back to home to tag out the potential scoring run. Then on offense, the bat of Levy was the opposite of cold. He would hit a 3-run home run, bringing his RBI total to 4 on the day. Michael Klein was feeling the juice as well. He matched Levy with a 3-run home run later in the inning. At the end of the 4th, Ohio had a total of 12 runs on 15 hits.
I mean, that's what we did from the very beginning. We were aggressive. We came out swinging. The guys did a tremendous job. So it was again, offensively, our hitters really set the tone for the game right away.
The Huskies started to get some momentum with defense. Multiple pitching changes slowed down the Bobcats. And on offense, NIU scored 2 runs in the 6th and then 2 in the 7th. Those were the only runs they would see the rest of the game. With a final score of 12-4, the Bobcats win their first home series in the 2018 season.
We're sitting at 3-3, but that's fine. I mean, we're 500. 500 will get you into the conference tournament. I'm pretty certain of that. And so we just got to keep collecting wins. 13 is the number we're shooting for. 13 or 14 conference wins. And if you can get there, then you'll be playing in Avon.
For Newswatch at noon, I'm Joe Hennessy. The 4th-seeded Spartans and the 13th-seeded Buckeyes both traveled to Jackson High School to battle in the first round of the state playoffs. Alexander finished the season 11-10 and 3rd in the TVC Ohio. As for NY, their season was not as positive. They finished with a 5-17 record and last in the TVC Ohio. The regular season records mean nothing now, though, as playoff time means having one goal, to be 1-0 at the end of the game. The game opened with a steal right after the tip by Dylan Maycomb, and he would score the easy layup to take the 2-0 lead. Nelsonville York would come back down the court, though, and would make a 3 to take the quick lead. Unfortunately for the Buckeyes, that was the only lead they would have the whole game. The Spartans behind 6'9" sophomore Caleb Terry and senior Ryan Davidson would control the paint and not allow NY to get any easy baskets inside. Davidson led the way with 16 points, and behind Terry and Davidson and their shooters locked and loaded behind the three-point line, the Spartans ran away with a 64-47 win, moving on to the next round of the playoffs. For the Buckeyes, the future is bright. Only graduating 2 seniors, Nelsonville York can find success behind junior Braden Allen and junior Ethan Boyer. This was Boyer's first game back since January 27th due to an ankle injury, and he would finish with 21 points. And for Alexander, they will play this Saturday against the 5th-seeded South Point Pointers at Jackson High School for the sectional championship. For Newswatch at noon, I'm Joe Hennessy.
Yeah, you too. But first, we're going to start with Nelsonville, York. Nelsonville, York's basketball season ended recently, and their football team was the best the town has had in 35 years. Newswatch at noon reporter Nate Busilla sat down with NY student-athlete Keegan Wilburn, who reflected on basketball and the football season that the town of Nelsonville won't soon forget. All right, I'm going to send it back over to you guys. Something about a Powerball. Let me know what that's about.
The Student Senate, the LGBT Center, and the Housing and Dorm Life of Ohio University came together to create more gender-neutral housing for students. Ohio University was seen as a pioneer when they designated gender-neutral housing in 2011. Ohio State and Marshall soon followed OU's lead. The plan was simple: to provide gender-neutral housing and eventually expand, make it more accessible. Delphine Batista, the LGBT director at OU, says it's about safety and security.
If students don't feel safe in the classroom, if students don't feel safe on campus, if students don't feel safe where they live, they can't learn and they can't grow.
Bromley Hall is just one dorm offering gender-neutral housing in the fall semester.
A student once shared with me that they would love to live in G&H but can't because they need to eat in Boyd, because Boyd has the dietary foods that they need. To go from Smith to Boyd and then to class just logistically is not possible.
People may not agree or feel comfortable with someone's personal preference of which bathroom to use or who they are living with. Batista says that they have worked with residential assistants and housing to utilize their housing agreements at the beginning of semesters.
People just need to use the bathroom. We are all adults, and so just having that conversation with the floor. What are folks comfortable with? What aren't folks comfortable with? How can we sort of mediate this in a way that makes sense?
Teachers and school service personnel are returning to West Virginia Capitol today to protest low wages and rising health care costs. The president of the American Federation of Teachers for West Virginia and the president of the Virginia Education Association will both be present. Today will mark the 4th day of the statewide walkout as teachers and other school employees are calling on lawmakers for better wages and health care benefits. The capital of the Golden State looks white. A blanket of unexpected snow covered Sacramento, California yesterday. A hail and snow mix caused traffic issues across the warm weather city. This was the first time Sacramento has seen snow in 9 years. While they were sandbagging in Nelsonville, Ohio University took precautions as well, surprising many on campus. Classes are back in session today, but fears of severe flooding led the university to tell students on Friday to stay away. President Trump is meeting with a group of lawmakers this afternoon to get feedback on actions he is debating to take in light of the Florida school massacre. President Trump wants the nation's governors to challenge the NRA and implement stricter background checks. Also, the mayor says anyone who notices potholes should contact the Department of Public Works to get those filled so we don't live in the wild, wild west again. Reporting live from the newsroom for Newswatch at noon, I'm Joe Hennessy. And the drug case is just starting against an Athens area man. Paul Hamilton was arrested after police found pounds of marijuana and more than 400 oxycodone pills at his residence. Police also found $30,000 in cash. Hamilton's bond was set at $500,000. And remember to tune in tomorrow at the same time to hear about the changes Athens County Public Libraries are making in the coming month. Thanks for watching.